want to start by thanking the board and our CEO, David O'Reilly, for coming here today to talk specifically about Chevron Corporation and their campaign, The Power of Human Energy. Over the past couple of weeks, I've really done a lot of research into this campaign, and I think the communications plan that I'm going to present for you today is a step in the right direction. First, I'm going to go over a brief history of the campaign, including the positive and negative reception it's had, so that everybody can get kind of a blunt and broad idea of just how this plan is being taken currently. And then I'll get into my strategies and recommendations, which I think everyone here is going to be really excited about because I'm really excited about. And lastly, I'll open the room up to questions or topics that maybe I didn't get to address in this meeting. So let's begin. In 2007, you at Chevron Corporation launched the Power of Human Energy campaign. And this was announced during a 60-minute special in the form of a 2-minute and 30-second spot. The initial impression was very positive. People were up in arms about how this mega industry giant was able to come out and say, we are now going to be corporately responsible. Of course, over the next couple of weeks, it had a lot of negative publicity as well. In the time it took to make the campaign and spread this $15 million campaign across America, we saw a lot of advertisements going up on billboards, on buses, in magazines, about the power of one. Chevron was really sending the message that the individual person is the one responsible for energy. We are the ones that can really make the difference. And media and bloggers were quick to point out, hey, what about Chevron? What is Chevron doing to contribute to energy as well? People look at Chevron as this industry giant who is responsible for a lot of the destruction of the earth, and they put the blame on the individuals. So we see the media and the activists come out. We've had protests against Chevron at American University, at Duke University. We've gotten a D grade on the Better Corporately Responsible handbook that went out last year. Media people are talking about it. There are articles in the San Francisco Chronicle, Los Angeles Times, all bashing Chevron and how this message is not going to work. And if Chevron is not concerned about these underground noises, then they should be. Because in the past, we've seen people like bloggers come out and ruin political candidates, ruin companies, and Chevron could be next. So we need to take aggressive and swift action in order to silence the voices of the dissent and put our company back where it belongs, on the realm of corporately responsible and in good graces with the eyes of the public. And what we have working in our favor is we know that we're corporately responsible. We know that we are actively pursuing the pursuit of these alternative energy sources. We are investing in renewable resources. And the key for Chevron and my communications brief is that we are going to relay this message to the public. The public doesn't know that we're doing this, and that's the problem. Okay, so who are we going to target with this new campaign? The most obvious target, and the one we're going to focus most aggressively on, are the end consumers. And I'm not just referring to the people who drive to the gas station and put gas in their car, because Chevron, as you guys know, reaches well beyond that spectrum. We're going to target the business customers who use it to put fuel in their private jets, or the chemical companies who use Chevron chemicals to do their business and activities. And the way we're going to get to these end consumers is by going through secondary constituencies, the ones who are most aggressively against Chevron, the media, and the activists. And by going to these people, we'll convince them, who will then convince the people, because as you know, the media does have a powerful effect on shaping public opinion. So what kind of message are we going to send? What exactly are we going to go and tell these media and these activists that can possibly make them change their mind about us? I think that we all have an image in our head of these bloggers and activists already having their mind made up about Chevron as the big energy giant. But that's not the case. And so to do this, I propose a 3-part message. The first part of the message is probably going to be the hardest to hear. We're going to have to admit responsibility. We're going to have to acknowledge that, yes, our business practices do have harmful effects on the earth. And the second part is what we're going to have to make very clear. And we're going to have to be clear and direct about what we do. And we're going to tell them that we're doing this not only for profit, but also to make the world a little bit easier and a little bit more accessible. Let me explain that part. As I mentioned earlier, Chevron products are responsible for getting people from point A to point B. We're responsible for putting chemicals in companies, heat in homes. The Chevron products and other industry giants like Chevron have a trickle-down effect. If you cut off all oil, all crude oil, all natural gas, people will be biking to work and living in the cold. Chevron is a necessary company, and we need to make that point very clear so people will realize that it's not just about the profits, it's not about capitalizing on the destruction of Earth, it's about helping. And then the third point we're going to make is that this is only a temporary evil. And this is the part where Chevron kind of brings in and hones in on what we are doing right now to do this. We're going to talk about how we're investing millions of dollars every year in investing in alternative energy sources. We're going to talk about the Cleaner Fuels Test Program, that we're making sure these alternative and renewable fuels are safe for drivers and that they'll work. And that's important as well. So the result of this, obviously, will be that the bloggers and the media people will have a better idea of what we're about and what we do. We want them to know that we're here for them. We're not just in it for profit. And I think the main difference between this program and the one that we're currently running is the one that we're currently running is putting all of the pressure on the individual. It's the individual's responsibility to turn off the light. They're the ones who should be carpooling to work, while Chevron's over here still drilling in 6 out of the 7 continents. We're the one plowing the earth and making it harder for global warming to ever become a memory. But the new campaign is going to put the focus on Chevron. We're going to take corporate responsibility. We're going to be responsible. We're the ones who are going to help the individuals. It's going to be a global effort, not just an individual effort. I think that is the key focus of this campaign. The 2 premises that I'm going to stress are honesty and transparency. We're going to be honest about our campaign, and we're going to let the people know what we're doing. Unfortunately, I've run out of time today, but as you know, I have a meeting scheduled for next Wednesday. So if you have any questions, I'll take them at this time. If not, I'll see you next week.